You've allowed this dark lord to twist your mind until now you become the very evil you swore to destroy. Hey everybody, we're Movie Herd. I'm Chan.
And I'm Kyle, and today we're going to be reviewing the third installment in the Star Wars saga.
Prequel trilogy. Revenge of the Sith, my favorite prequel Star Wars. Also, I like it better than anything Disney has made so far. That's very controversial to say, but I'm saying it. And, wow, this film, from the very beginning, I thought was perfect, like from the beginning to end. It's also the longest Star Wars film out of all of them so far. And wow, it was like we're back to that swashbuckling old school Star Wars feel from the very beginning. Like we're in the action again from the very beginning. And this is a weird thing to say, but when after the credits, not the credits, but after the reel goes, and then they're in space and they're flying and you hear the drum dun 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 dun, and it's like that one shot. For some reason, I was pretty young. I was like in middle school when this came out, but I was picturing like Palpatine like slamming on his cell. Like I thought for some reason, I thought that's what it was. That sound was so they're flying and Palpatine's like, "I'm locked up, let me out." I thought they were gonna cut to that. Like that's something I'll always remember.
The opening of this movie is probably my favorite opening of maybe any Star Wars movie. It kind of starts a little bit like a James Bond movie.
Yeah, right in the middle of the action.
Of a mission, and I thought that was really cool, and it sets this movie apart.
Yeah,
for sure from any of the other Star Wars movies.
And it's all one shot too, which is awesome. And then there's so much, every part of the frame is filled up with something cool exploding, and then you go into the Anakin and him talking.
Before they get there, when they're still like spinning around and stuff like that, I was watching special features, because the special features for this one specifically are so good.
Mm-hmm. And
they actually talk how they use almost anything you can think of in all of the Star Wars movies. They've used household anything. Like, I mean, pick something, and they probably have it in one of the Star Wars movies. They used a kitchen sink in this one. It was one of the pieces of shrapnel when a blast hit the ship. It was a kitchen sink that flew off of it.
Oh, that's crazy.
I was like, how cool is that? They could have just CGI'd something, but they used the kitchen sink.
That's awesome. A little Easter egg there.
Yeah.
Also, too, the other two really reserved their lightsaber battles. This one just went all out. That's another thing I love about it. There's so many lightsabers being ignited in this film. It's not even funny. Like, from the very beginning, I remember watching it, and they're about to fight Count Dooku. I'm like, whoa. I feel like this is the end of the movie, because all the other movies end with the lightsaber battle, but this one kind of began with one. I'm like, dang, like it's gonna be a short film. Just kidding. No, I didn't think that, but just everything. It was just the pace of it was very fast paced. Out of all of it, it's crazy, but I feel like this film, to me, is so entertaining that it goes by. Even though it's the longest Star Wars, it feels like it's the shortest Star Wars.
It does go by really quickly.
Yeah, it goes by really quick because there's so much that happens.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. This is actually not my least favorite of the prequels, but it's my second least favorite. I actually like Episode 1 better, Phantom Menace, but there are some good aspects about this one that weren't in any of the other ones, and there are some aspects I didn't like too much, but we can talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, just at this point, it was the third Star Wars and the last, and it was they had this very melancholy to the whole thing. It felt like, oh, this is the last one. This might be the last one ever. Enjoy it. And it felt like Return the King. When Return the King, I felt the same way when Return the King came out. It was really sad. I was like, this is the last one, and it was for a good long time, and I was like, let's make this great, and it was, and I think the best, if there's any one soundtrack that is my favorite out of all 7, technically 8 films so far, if you count Rogue One, the best score, it was Revenge of the Sith, in it, like that heartbreaking, the violin when he's talking to Padme on the balcony, I was like, gets me every time, like. And then Anakin's chuckling, and it's like you see a different side of Anakin that you haven't seen in any of the other movies. He's more human in this film.
That scene, specifically the balcony scene, I think was a little bit ahead of its time, kinda. Or I mean, it was kind of around that era, but it was a little bit ahead of its time. Just the way that they did it, I thought was pretty cool. And there's a lot of movies that nowadays are still using that. And there might be some movies that used it before then. I don't know. I just really liked it, and the way that they did it seemed a bit different than maybe people have.
It was different than the other two prequels. It was, wow, we're taking like a breather here. It's nice. And I also like pretty much all the scenes with Padme and Anakin I thought were great. Like him finding out his wife's pregnant, like how scary that is, and his position, a person in his position, or a lady in her position, and I thought that scene was superbly acted. He was like excited and scared at the same time. It reminded me of, I haven't had this experience, but I'm sure that's how like teenagers feel like when they get pregnant, like, oh no, like crap, this is great, but this is wonderful, but scary at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it almost felt like that.
I'm pretty sure that's what just about anybody feels like when they're pregnant, maybe.
Yeah. No, but like
but
they're not
they're
married, they're in high school, like crap, parents are gonna find out. Parents meaning the Jedi Council and society.
I can see
you know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's kind of it's
yeah.
scary. Yeah. It's risky. You weren't supposed to be together.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yes. Ewan McGregor. Once again, I feel like we haven't praised him enough in any of the other.
We haven't praised him in
Ewan
any of them.
McGregor. He definitely does the best Obi-Wan out of any. He did Obi-Wan great in the other ones, but this was it. He really nailed it with this. He's like, hello there, and Obi-Wan. Okay, Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Phantom Menace. Okay, Phantom Menace. I said my favorite villain was Darth Maul. My favorite hero in the prequels is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Of all, he's definitely my favorite. This costume is based off of Obi-Wan. I'm literally wearing Obi-Wan's clothes right now. So he's my favorite. And Ewan McGregor also is one of my favorite actors because of that role. And it's I have a kind of a great little tie to Ewan McGregor. My dad is a medic in the set industry, and he's worked with Ewan McGregor. He met him before he was Obi-Wan, and he said he's a really nice person. He says the F word every other word, but still a very nice person. And I remember when Attack of the Clones came out, I was like, Dad, Obi-Wan looks just like Jesus. Like, can he play Jesus in a movie? And he's like, son, I don't think he should. Like, he says the F word in every other word. I thought it was funny. And you know what? He actually does play Jesus in a movie.
He does in a movie.
And it's called Last Days of the Desert. So I called that back in 2002. But Ewan McGregor is, the best part of the prequels is Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan. I mean, I can
agree with that.
Yeah, he's so
it
cool.
opened my eyes to what good acting was, because that time period, like that year, was when I really started to understand movies better, and I got to understand Ewan McGregor as a good actor, one who I enjoy, who is really funny in this one. Mm-hmm. He's like the comic relief, and he did a really good job.
Another happy landing. And
because of that, I actually have watched a couple of his other movies, and I've still enjoyed his performances in there. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, and it all started with Star Wars.
Because when he started with Star Wars, he was kind of not really too much.
That was his first big.
It was his first. Hey everybody, I'm this person.
Yes, he was the drug addict and Transpotting before that, but this was really it. This really made him a household name. And and it doesn't help that Scotland's like one of my favorite countries ever, so that's cool. They produced him and Sean Connery, like two of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
But wow, I just can't complain. Oh, the wardrobe I felt like got perfected, especially the Jedi wardrobe. I know I'm kind of a freak about the Jedi's costumes, but I loved the evolution of Obi-Wan's costume, and it got, even though it's slightly different, but it was perfected by that movie. I felt like the lightsabers were perfected.
A lot of things were perfected as you go along. And in this movie, a lot of things were perfected. The CGI was, the wardrobes were, the fight scenes. I mean, the only fight scene that's better than the final battle in this one is the one with Darth Maul in Episode 1. That's the only fight scene in the entirety of Star Wars it's not better. That almost meets it. I said that funny. It almost meets this fight scene.
I was about to say, whoa, you
Sorry,
just said, yeah.
I said that wrong. I had to process it real quick.
Yeah.
This is the best one out of all of them. And so they were able to perfect it in this. And they got really close with the one with Darth Maul. But this one is still even better. And so they perfected everything in this.
I mean, at that point, it was like, how are they going to top Duel of Fates and with the soundtrack and the battle? And they did. Battle of Heroes is my favorite Star Wars track of all time. There's emotion, and you really could feel brothers were fighting.
Oh, so dramatic. Like, I think I almost cried during that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, that's how dramatic it was.
You are my brother, Anakin. I loved you.
It's really sad, and they both played it so well. And with the help of like the CGI making that whole set with the lava, everything, so
there was
well
a special
done.
feature just around that color within a minute.
And the costumes they had to change because they had ones that were charred and stuff.
So much that happened within a minute. And that goes with all films as well. But with that one, they actually filmed a real erupting volcano, and then they added it into the film, which was awesome.
There are a lot of good aspects about this movie, for sure. I don't like the storytelling in this movie that much. I think that it goes too fast, and you don't notice that 6 months go by. At the beginning of the movie, Padme is pregnant maybe 2 to 3 months, and that's when you find out, oh, she's pregnant. At the end of the movie, she's like 9 months pregnant, or at least 8, almost 9 months pregnant, and she's like about to pop. And it doesn't feel like that goes by. So the storytelling in a whole isn't very good, but there are some scenes that, whoa, wow.
It's sad because Padme is one of my favorite prequel characters as well. But she's really put on the back burner for episode 3, which is too bad. But the awesome thing is there's a lot of deleted scenes that are in the special features that show Padme doing something, and she is the one who started the whole rebellion, which is cool to see that through. And I was like, well, they should have just kept it in that movie, and then it would have completed Padme. It's crazy because one of the deleted scenes is her in this certain headdress that she wears in the Star Wars poster, the drawn poster for the soundtrack, that isn't in the actual cut of the movie. I thought that was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So she's wearing something in the poster that she doesn't even wear in the this cut of the movie, but she is wearing in the deleted scenes.
I remember that. I didn't even notice that. That is pretty cool.
She set up meetings with Mon Mothra and Bail Organa in those special features. That was cool. Like, she helped start that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish they would have had that in there. I wish they would have had more of her in there.
Come on, man. Yeah, more Bail Organa scenes is great. Because Bail Organa in Rogue One, that was so cool.
That was really cool.
The same actor and the same actress who played Mon Mothra. And I feel like, okay, guys, just stop teasing us. Obi-Wan standalone film is going to happen, Disney. And you're going to hire Ewan McGregor because he's the perfect age. He's like a fine wine. He actually probably looks better now than he did in the prequels. Like, that's the great thing about Scott's is, like, I felt like Sean Connery looked better as he got older. And Ewan McGregor's the same way. And his beard is more luscious and thick now that he's older. So he's going to be perfect Obi-Wan. Perfect for the Obi-Wan standalone film.
Well, this is definitely a really good installment in the prequels, for sure. And it totally sums up the prequels in an epic way. And you cannot watch the Star Wars movies without this movie.
Oh, yeah.
It just wouldn't work.
Like, yes, Revenge of the Sith I like better than any Disney era so far. Hopefully Last Jedi will,
make up for it.
We'll beg to differ. Bit. Yeah, we'll make it so I'll like that better than Revenge of the Sith. But so far, I like Revenge of the Sith better. And so our question for you guys is, what era of Star Wars do you like the best? Just between the two, because I know there's the classic era. Everyone knows the classic era is the best. Will always be the best. But between the two, Disney era or prequel era? In a weird way, it's like Disney World is still great. Okay, so Disneyland had Walt Disney's hand in it, and he lived there, and you feel Disney's spirit. And then Walt Disney World doesn't really have Walt. That came out after Walt died. So in a way, the prequels is kind of like Disneyland, where it's still got George's hand in it every way, and then the new Disney eras is like Disney World. And so it's just like they're good in different ways, but because the master was behind the camera for 1, 2, and 3, I think it makes it, especially Revenge of the Sith for me, I like it better so far than the Disney. It's like kind of a funny comparison, but
it's kind of a funny comparison,
like
but
kind
it
of
makes sense.
Similar, yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think I like the other ones better. But we want to know what you think. Let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, make sure to check out some of our other Star Wars videos that we've made. And stay tuned for more Star Wars videos. And we'll see you next time. Hey everybody, if you liked this video, make sure to check out our episode 1 and episode 2 reviews that we did, and also subscribe so that you can get notified for the next 4 reviews for Star Wars leading up to Star Wars The Last Jedi. They're somewhere here.